Hi, how are you doing? Today we're doing, I think it's gonna be a fun video. I don't know. I'm kind of dreading it because I think it might be long, but I don't know. I hope not. But today I'll be talking about all the book series I finished in 2024. I did this last year as well, and I just thought because last year I mainly did it because I had a reading goal to try and focus more on finishing series, and I thought that would be a great motivator for me to have to wrap up everything at the end. But I also thought it would be, I really like doing that video, so I thought it would be fun doing it again this year. And also because I stopped doing my individual series reviews that I've done just because I kind of got tired of it. So I thought it would be fun to therefore still talk to you about all the series that I finished and what I thought of them in this format. I will just be giving brief thoughts on these series, especially considering some of these I finished a while ago. So I might not remember everything about it, but I do also have a digital reading journal, and in that I always write a little series review as soon as I finish it with my ratings for each book, my ranking of the series, and then a little blurb of thoughts as well. And I'll pop that up as kind of the start screen for each series that we'll be talking about, so you can just pause and kind of also see that overview if you want, because I won't be giving you especially the ratings and the ranking because that will be here for a really long time. And yeah, if there's any, because I did still do series review at the start of the year, and then towards the end of the year I started doing series vlogs, and I've only done 2 of those. But if there's any kind of videos like that, they will be linked in the description along with the timestamps for each series that I will be talking about, so you can go watch more in-depth thoughts on those series as well. And you of course, the timestamps also, you can click around to what you're interested in. But yeah, that's enough for this intro. Let's just get started with the first series I finished in 2024, which is the Maxton Hall series by Mona Caston. This, I've always gotta explain what this is, but I remember that a adaptation of this came out this year and it got really popular, so you probably know what this is. But it's basically a new adult, technically the characters are YA age, but there's smut in them, so it's new adult in my book. Romance series that's originally German, I believe, and it got really popular on Dutch bookstagram last year, so that's how I got interested in it. I went up to my library, and yeah, I got the final book of the trilogy this year, and it just wasn't really my thing. I mean, it was a really fun time to read because it's not the most healthy of romances, but so I had a bit of a fun time with it because it was very dramatic. But overall, I also had many issues with it, especially later on in the series. A side romance that focuses on a lot is a student-teacher romance, and I just... Then next I have the One of Its as Duology by Becca Batali and Adam Silvera. I finally read the final book in a duology that came out years ago, and I never got around to it despite loving book 1. And honestly, I can still tell you that I love book 1, but I have not read it since that originally came out, which is also years ago. So, different reading tastes back then, but I felt I remembered the story enough to go into the sequel, and I did. I wasn't confused at all while reading the sequel. But these are YA contemporary romances, basically. And I remember the first book I really liked, especially because at the time it just was a very unconventional ending. And I do have to say that the sequel kind of undermined that, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I still liked it. I believe I gave it a 3 stars, so I had a fun enough time reading it, but it generally just felt like the authors just... because I said, it was an unconventional ending and I liked it, but a lot of people complained about that, and I feel like the authors just got back together to write a sequel to satisfy the people's complaints about the original ending. And I could finally feel that that passion, the inspiration was kind of gone behind the second book. Then we have the Chessmen, Masters of Seduction trilogy by Lauren Heath. This is a adult historical romance trilogy, and I had a good time with these. The first one I wasn't a big fan of because that one is also very mystery focused, and I just didn't really particularly like the mystery in it. But the other two I did quite like. The second one, I do remember this one is my favorite. I generally really highly recommend that one, especially if you love A Second Chance. That one was so good. But overall, these are just really fun historical romances. Then we have the Shadow of the Fox trilogy by Julie Kagawa, and this is another series. Actually, the series I started a couple years ago, and I just never got around to finishing it, and I finally did this year, and it didn't work for me. And this happens so often with Julie Kagawa, where I think that her stories are so interesting, but the execution always lacks for me. And this was another one of those where I don't know, I didn't get along with it. The final book I generally disliked. The other two I was fine with, but I also think that maybe my dislike for the third book came from like having such a long gap between 2 and 3. So that was my fault. But overall, I still don't think I would have given it that of a good rating. Although I do think that this is just a me problem, because I have seen many people love the series and I generally do get it. Because like I said, I do think the concept of it is very interesting, but I don't know, I find it a bit boring and I just never really connected with it. The next we have one of it is Lion by Karen McManus. This is another trilogy, it's YA mysteries. I find it so hard to review this series. I think this is the first one I didn't do a review for because I was like, I don't know. Because book one I liked, but it's problematic. So like keep that in mind. There's issues with that book, like generally issues with that book. It's questionable. And then book two I actually really like, but it's very different. And then book three is just, I don't know, lackluster for me. I don't know. They tried to go back to the storyline of book one, but I don't know, it didn't fully recreate me and how things tied together and everything. I don't know, it wasn't my favorite. Then one of the surprises of this year is Bloodlines by Michelle Mead. This honestly it's been a very up and down journey. I've had star ratings across the board, but I definitely got more into the series as it continued, and I feel like it did do a lot of interesting things, and I love the romance in this one. It's YA fantasy, it's a spin-off of Vampire Academy. You probably know Vampire Academy. I do prefer Vampire Academy, which is very unpopular. I know that. I know most people prefer the Bloodline series. I don't. I do prefer the romance in the Bloodline series, so in that sense I get it, but I feel like the plot of Vampire Academy is better. Then we have the Smythe-Smith Quartet by Julia Quill. Very meh romance series. I believe it's 3 stars all across the board. No, wait. Is this a series with one that I absolutely despised? Yeah, this was a very mid series. I thought it was fine. For the most part, if you want an historical romance, like it's they're not like abysmal reads, but I didn't find myself like as invested or as in love with either of these pairings. Then we have the Cassidy Blake trilogy by V. Schwab. These are middle grade kind of paranormal mysteries, a little bit with ghosties and everything. It's a fun time. This is also a 3-star across the board, but I'm not the target demographic for it anymore. And overall, I don't know. I thought they were fine. I definitely think if you give them to a middle grade audience, I'll be obsessed with them. If you would have given them to me at a middle grade audience, I would have been obsessed with them. But right now, as an adult, I don't know, I had fun reading them. I don't remember too much on them already. Then we have the Stolen Heir Duology by Holly Black, and I also feel like this is unpopular, but I really didn't like this. I love The Cruel Prince. It's one of my favorite series that I read last year, I believe, or the year before that. Time's Fake. But this is a spin-off of that. It's Duology, and I thought it was bad, and it was so boring. I really did not give a fuck about either of our two main characters, which is a shame because I like them in the original trilogy as much, even though they were kids back then and now they're like a bit older because they're YA fantasies. But still, I really could not stand them. And then their romance just felt so forced, and that the second book is a 1-star. I remember that. I hated it so much. Next, I finally finished the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. This has been the series I've been in the middle of for the longest. I can tell you that, and I'm so glad to finally crossed it off. I finally finished it, and honestly, I really liked it. I do feel like this one takes a bit of a dip in the middle, but overall, I think it's a very compelling story. Mare is a bit of an unlikable main character, but I feel like the cast of side characters makes up for it. And overall, I think the development of Mare is still pretty interesting. Then we have the Aunties trilogy by Jessica Sutanto. And you know what? This one went downhill for me and it's kind of sad. Like book one, I loved so much. I thought it was so funny. I thought it was just a fun mystery and I loved the cast of characters. And book two, I liked a little bit less just because there were some very stupid decisions made, but I still had a really fun time with it. And then the third book, I was like, what are we doing? Like, genuinely. I don't know. Then we have the Bargainer series by Laura Talassa. This also just wasn't really my thing. I can't understand why people like this. This is a new adult romantasy series. And like I said, I can't understand why people like it. There are definitely elements to it that I did enjoy. I did think the fantasy storyline was very interesting. I just really didn't like the romance. It gave me such a massive ick. No. Then we have the Threads That Bind Duology by Kika Hatsupulo. Yes, I love this. I mean, both books were 4-star because I did have issues with each of them. I think the first book is a bit too info-dumpy at the start, which makes it a bit tough to get into it a little bit. And then the second book is very repetitive in my opinion. But overall, I think it is a really great duology. It's really fun. I really like the main character. The fantasies, they're YA fantasies, but like more mystery based, and I like the mysteries in them. I thought it was really well executed. I loved the world. I thought it was so interesting. It's Greek like it's mythology based. I was gonna say Greek mythology, but we also get some other mythology stuff in there, but like it's mainly Greek, but mythology based just in general. I really enjoyed that. I thought the romance in this was a bit undeveloped but very cute. And yeah, I feel like more people should read this duology because I generally really liked it. Then we have the Dreamland Billionaires series by Laura Asher, which again is another series I felt hard to review because I have such different thoughts on each book. Book one, I was fine with. I don't know, I wasn't fully sold on the romance, but like overall I thought it was a fun read and like a fun concept. And then book two, again, I really liked. If you love an arranged marriage, there you go. Or like not an arranged marriage, like a fake engagement, if you like that, read book two. I really liked it. I thought it was so well done. And then book three, which is most people's favorite, just did not work for me. I really especially did not like the female main character in this. I also thought the romance was just a bit uncooked. Then we also have the Well That Was Unexpected duology by Jessica Sutanto. This is a duology of two YA contemporary romances, and they were fine. Again, I do think that if I was in the actual age demographic, I would have enjoyed these much more than I did now. So because there's nothing particularly wrong with them, I do think book two gets a bit too preachy at times, but overall it does have a really good message, and therefore I do recommend it for like the younger audiences that it's meant for. But as someone who just read a whole lot of YA contemporary romances in a lifetime, these don't really stand out that much. We also have the Long Game duology by Elena Armas. Now these aren't recommendable to me. I really did not like these two books, which is just such a shame. I cannot stand either of the main characters in book one. I didn't really like the way the romance was developed. Wasn't a fan. And then book two I was really excited for because those characters appeared in book one, and I like them and I was excited to see their romance. It's again a fake engagement, something I love. So I was very excited to see that play out, and it crashed and burned. I really didn't like that book either. Then we have The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. This is one that I did a series vlog on, which by the way, those are spoiler free, so you can go watch them if you want. And I really enjoyed this. This is one that has been sitting on my TBR again for like a really long time, and I'm glad I finally got around to finishing it. And I thought it was a fun time. Again, qualities kind of fluctuates in the series, but overall I think it's a really strong series with very great atmosphere. Especially I feel like that's the strongest suit of this, as well as the found family aspect of this. Then we have the Throne of Glass series with Sarah J Maas, and this is confirmed to me that Sarah J Maas is not for me. I do still have the last book in the Crescent City trilogy, and I will be reading that, but I think maybe after that I'm done. I don't know. I am interested in Akatar, what is it, 5, whenever that comes out, if it ever comes out. So maybe, but I don't know. Again, fluctuating thoughts. There's one book in a series that I really enjoyed, which is what's it called? It's Tower of Dawn. I really liked that one, but for the rest, I just wasn't the biggest fan. I thought it was a bit boring at times. It's very, towards the end especially, it's very obvious that Sarah J Maas doesn't have an editor anymore, which is also kind of a issue with the Crescent City, where I don't think she has an editor anymore. She's just allowed to do whatever she wants. And it gets long, and it does not need to be that long. I also think the cast of characters got too large. Then we also have the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy by Carrie Maniscalco. This one, I was so obsessed with this. I ill read this entire trilogy. I thought it was just so good, so fun. It's definitely not gonna be for everyone, but it just is right up my alley. I really liked our cast of characters. I loved the romance. I really liked the world. I thought it was very interesting, and the plot which is so compelling. And I just ate it all up. Loved it. Again, I did a series vlog for this, so you can go watch that. The last series that I finished in 2024 is the Shades of Magic trilogy by V. Schwab. This, 3 stars across the board. I thought it was fine. Again, I always felt like something was missing from each and every book. I thought the world was interesting, I thought the characters were interesting, but the plots just never really moved me. Like, they never really did anything with me, and therefore it was kind of a disappointment because I feel like, I don't know, it was a bit of a letdown. That is everything I have for you today. They didn't be too long, which thank God. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you read any of these series, what you thought of them, as well as some of your favorite series that you finished in 2024. I have many sequels on my TBR for 2025, so hopefully I will be even better at finishing series next year. As always, kind of my goal to I don't officially have a goal to finish more series anymore, but it's always in the back of my mind to want to go see that number up each year of series that I finish, and so far I've been successful at that. So hopefully That will also be the case for 2025. We'll see. I'll definitely be doing another video like this next year. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you around before then as well.